I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum. Oh, shit.
Hey kids, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Still Unnamed Podcast. I'm Pete Salas along with
Mark District 9 Rodriguez.
District 9, and we've got a special guest in the house. You want to introduce this person?
No,
neither do I. We have my baby sister back on the podcast. Hi.
Whoop, whoop.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Good.
I'm very tired, but I'm cool.
You're tired, but you're gutting it out, and you're coming on the podcast.
Yes.
It's kind of late at night. We're recording this. This is a night version. So, what's going on, guys? What's new?
nothing. Podcast over. Hit the music.
I heard this was your idea.
No. Well, no, not exactly. I mean,
So you better bring the thunder.
No, it's because I listen to your podcast in the car when I'm driving by myself, and then I'll start like talking to you guys, like yelling at my radio.
You know, you're not the first person to tell me that. Go ahead.
So I was just telling him I think it would be better if I was sitting with you guys so I could actually, have.
So I guess she wants us to talk, and then she'll.
And then I'll just respond.
Pete,
to it.
how's it going?
So you're not really going to add to this.
No. Not really.
How's it going, Pete?
Well, I mean, if I'm being honest, I'm kind of sad.
Why?
Yeah, I some disturbing news came this morning or earlier today.
Oh, what happened?
I was very sad, and you guys are probably gonna think it's stupid, but I was legitimately saddened by the passing of Roddy Piper. He just passed
away. Your dad showed it to me like an hour before recording this.
Yeah,
and I was like, what?
I was legitimately bummed out. I really was. He was. I mean, I'm a big fan of wrestling.
Yeah.
But
Well, for those who don't know, who is Roddy Piper?
Roddy Piper is. It's kind of hard to wrap it all up, but he's an old timer.
Okay, real quick. I know we're in the middle of something very deep and special
Jesus
to you.
Christ. See, this is when before I went into something, you should have brought something up.
Well, I just want to know, what are you drinking in that cup over there?
Water.
Cool. I'm not drinking anything. Alyssa, what do you have over there?
Oh yeah, what are you sipping on?
I've got Seagram's Escapes.
Yes.
Two bottles.
I needed two. Yes. I've got a peach fuzzy navel.
Oh, it's already hit. I see.
And it's making me happy.
So you're happy.
Yes.
Good.
Anyway, but sad also.
So,
well, yes.
Let's get back to that.
Back to the sad news.
I mean, he was legitimately one of my favorites since I was a little kid. He was he played like a Scottish wild man character.
Okay.
And he was loud and he was abrasive and he was one of the first ones to like talk like directly to the camera and like just
to the audience.
Yeah, and he was like
engaging.
He was the extreme bad guy. He was always best when he was the bad guy because he was the perfect villain for another person who's in the news recently, Hulk Hogan. Back in the 80s, he couldn't be touched. He was Mr. America, and he was, and Piper was that perfect, opposite of him. He was loud, he was abrasive, he was obnoxious, he was an asshole. He said
that's
what he
not
wanted.
What America's about,
right? And he was just one of my favorites, and it's really strange to feel like he's gone. And I guess part of the reason being, I was just talking to Grief about this a little while ago. Roddy Piper had a podcast also.
Yeah.
And I've been listening to it since episode 1. It's about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And funny thing happens with podcasts, like, I don't know if you feel this way. I know you listen to a lot of them. The more you listen to people on a podcast specifically, like you get to feel like you know them, like they are a friend of yours.
Yeah.
And it's really strange. Like, he's a celebrity, and I listen to several different podcasts, but the more I listen to them, I feel a connection with these people. I feel more so like than they're just someone I saw on TV. I felt like maybe because they're invading my personal space, my car, my iPod. I feel like I know them. So
well, it's they're having a conversation and they're inviting you into that conversation.
Right. It's kind of like why she's here today, because like she listens to us, and obviously she knows us. But I think more so, would you say that you feel like we're in the car with you?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so it's a closer connection than that's kind of what I'm saying.
Yes.
Is I felt a close connection, and with several of my podcast people. Like I remember, I want to say 2 years ago maybe, I was watching Conan, and he had the Impractical Jokers on, and I have been a fan of Sal and Q, who host What Say You. And even before that, Q has been on a show called Tell 'em Steve Dave that I've been listening to for like 4 years now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've known this guy, for the lack of a better term, for 4 years, and I got to tell you, when I saw him on Conan, I was so proud of him. It was like a pride, like, fuck, there's my friend, and he made it.
You made it, bud.
You made it. He was so happy to be on there. And I remember listening to him on Tell 'em Steve Dave the week before. He's like, dude, I'm doing Conan next week. I'm so excited.
He was lit up.
He was lit up. And it's kind of like I knew he was going to be on Conan. He told me, my friend told me he was going to be on Conan.
Yeah.
And when I finally watched it, I was like so proud. It was a feeling of pride, which is stupid. But I felt proud of my friend being on Conan. That's the connection I think that podcasts have.
Also, another thing about it is sometimes they have like little inside jokes. That only people that listen to the podcast and are involved with the podcast would know. Like, because there are some people who are probably like Impractical Joker fans who don't listen to the podcast, and they probably don't know about them outside of the show the way you know them when they're having a conversation.
Right. So it taking that into, my point being today when I learned of Roddy Piper's passing, I really felt like a friend of mine or like an uncle had died. Like I truly felt sad. And I don't know, it's a strange feeling, but
this feeling inside?
It is. It sure is. But so, I mean, rest in peace.
Yeah. How did he go?
He had a heart attack. At
that sucks.
Tender age of 61. Not
That's
that old.
Nothing.
He's not that old.
No, it's not.
They were talking about like healthy things on the news or whatever, and they were like, it's hard to motivate and tell people to take care of your heart, because like if your arm hurts or your leg hurts, you feel it, but like you don't feel cholesterol, or you don't feel certain things that have to do with your heart until it's too late.
Yeah. So
I haven't been eating better though. I had 2 donuts and 3 pizzas today.
3 pizzas.
3 slices.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
That's how I talk. That's how we talk in Alyssa. Hey, do you want a pizza? Yeah.
And they give you a slice?
They give you a slice.
That's funny.
When you order a pizza, you have to say, "Can I have a circle pizza, please?"
You want a triangle pizza or a circle pizza? 2 triangles, please. Oh, Elsa sounds like a magical place. You lived there for a while? How'd it go?
She got pregnant.
Within the first few months.
Oh, Jesus.
It was...
That water, bro.
Yeah.
If anybody's trying.
Immaculate conceptions left and right.
Yes.
Speaking of watching your health, you brought a slew. I'm going to say it's a slew of different snacks for me to choose from.
No, not to choose from.
To eat all of them?
They're all yours.
Oh, yes. Jesus Christ.
And please go back for more.
You guys just want me to die. I see.
Then I inherit TSUP. And the whole thing, it gets about as popular as Mark's Minute.
Oh, boy.
That's one of the nice perks of this camp, is that after it's done, all the snacks get to come home with me.
That's true. How did the camp go for you guys? Today was the last
whole
day,
camp.
Right?
Yes, it was.
The whole camp was, for me personally, just a hell. It was just so terrible.
It was probably our worst year.
Really?
Yeah.
In terms of what?
We took on too many kids.
Readiness.
And
all the things
that could go wrong.
Yeah.
Were bad. But actually the show which went on tonight, it happened a couple hours ago. Not bad.
Not bad. No, it was good.
It was good.
So you guys you pulled it all together last minute.
The kids did it.
Yeah.
Wow.
They pulled through. But it was definitely way too many kids, and the age split was bad. We had some like 7-year-olds with some 15-year-olds, and it just those kids. You could tell that the older kids were just frustrated,
not having it.
Yeah, they were frustrated with having to wait and redo things.
Like, okay, this time, but louder. Okay, yeah, articulate and louder. And no changes.
Right. But did they improv like you were saying that they were going to do?
It's called, what kind of theater is it called? Devised
theater.
What does that mean?
There's no script. There's no script at all, and you just kind of create as you go along.
Like
it's not
free form?
Sort of. It's not improv, because especially the way we did it, we came up with the scenes and we rehearsed them a couple of times. They changed every time since there's not a script. There's little details that changed, but
isn't that tough to do with untrained actors?
Yes,
especially children.
Absolutely.
So whose idea was to go off script this year?
One of our staff members is a very sweet and optimistic girl, and she has done it many times with older people.
Okay.
And she thought it would be fun to try it this year with our kids.
Wow.
And it was...
She's a very sweet girl.
This was the experimental year.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was the Arrested Development season 4.
Yes.
Okay. So
exactly.
It felt right, but something was off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I see.
But I mean, it really wasn't bad.
But you guys pulled it together.
Yes.
I don't know if I would say it wasn't bad, but the show for the parents was good.
That's what I meant. I meant the play itself.
The experience.
The whole year was terrible.
Well, I guess, the kids had fun, right? So
some of them did not.
There's a dick.
Did you have any quitters?
No.
No.
The parents paid. They're like, you're gonna go.
No, I know that feeling.
But there was a kid
there was a shithead.
That was like he was a malicious child. Like he was a bad kid.
How old was he?
7 or 8, I think.
We're not gonna name drop.
No, of course not.
But his name is.
I just want to be clear that we're all ganging up on an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
No, he's he's a dick.
Well, give me an example. What do you do?
He well, there's the kids that he's a boy and he's a kid. So there's those things that boys do that, like, when they're bad, they're just like, oh, that's a bad kid.
Right.
For instance, he was sliding down the banister.
Okay.
And I told him, don't do that. Like, just don't. Stop it.
Okay.
And like he would sit next to it and he would lean against it and he would do everything to not get up to I'm still not doing what you told me to do. So I'm listening to what you said.
Right.
But I'm doing it on my terms.
Gotcha.
Like he was being a dick. And then like he'll 2 minutes later he'll slide down it again anyway.
All right.
So like that's like, oh, you're a dick kid. I mean, you're a bad kid, but you're not an asshole.
Right.
This kid was ill and he had a cough.
Yeah.
And bad. He was coughing on other children
on purpose
to get them sick.
Letting them know, I'm trying to get you sick.
Wow. That is a dick move.
Yeah. We had complaints from parents that their kids got sick.
You can't tell his parent?
I tried to talk to the mom and she just didn't care. She didn't care at all. She was one of those moms.
I paid my money?
Yeah. It's your problem, not mine.
So, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And he was kind of the only really, really bad kid. There were kids that had some, issues that we had to tell over and over again, but no, he was the
wasn't
only one.
Issues that we haven't had to do. Hey, pay attention. Okay. Hey, I told you to pay attention. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Right.
Typical things you expect to have to deal with.
How many years have you guys been doing this?
This was our 6th year.
6 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So is there gonna be a 7th?
I think so, but Warren and I were actually talking, and I think we're both getting pretty tired of this. It was just a really bad year for us.
Right.
So I don't know. It's up in the air right now.
And, well, I mean, everyone has their breaking point, and, you know, you're about to embark on working with kids daily.
Yes.
So I highly doubt
I'm going to do that.
I highly doubt next summer when you're off, you're going to want to work with more kids.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
What are your feelings on that? You ready?
I'm so scared. I am so scared. I still don't know what I'm doing. Nobody has told me. In fact, I went to the school today. I talked to the principal in person, and I was like, hey, you know, I don't know what time to show up on Monday.
Right.
And he gave me the same answer I have been getting for all of my questions, which is somebody will email you, which I didn't get that email, by the way. And I guess he saw the look on my face. He was like, why don't you go ahead and come in at 7:30? And I was like, okay, thanks.
Okay.
But, I mean, I don't know what I'm teaching. I don't know what grade I'm teaching. I don't know where to go. I don't know anything about what I'm doing Monday morning.
This is in 2 days.
And when's the first day of school?
The 10th. So I have 1 week of, like, professional development, and then the kids come in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you know, I was a teacher, for the lack of a better term, and I'm half as smart maybe as you are. So I mean, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think you'll just easily fall into it, but I can see where you would be, you know, anxious about.
Well, I'm like Dad. I need to be prepared 100% before anything. So this is like freaking me out that I don't know anything about it.
Right. No, I can see that. I remember my first day as a teacher. It was really, really scary.
How was it?
It was scary.
What did you do?
I just kind of...
Did you dress up?
I did.
Yes!
I did. I didn't have to. I felt I should wear slacks and tuck in my shirt. And I mean, anyone who knows me knows that is not me at all. Mm. I felt completely uncomfortable. And the bitch of it is like I was going back in, and some of these kids were my classmates last summer. I mean, 3 months ago, let's just put it that way. And now I'm coming back, and I'm like, okay, now it's time. Like I'm the teacher now. And I remember walking in, and the first person I saw was Edna, that fucking bitch. And she was just like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, hey, what's up? She goes, is that your truck outside? Yeah. She's like, oh, I would totally date you. That's the first conversation we had.
Wow. Because
she liked my truck. And that was awkward, because I was a teacher now.
Super awkward.
I don't drive trucks, so I would never have that problem. Oh, it's not that I don't drive trucks. I don't.
Well, if you walk into your classroom first day of school and a kid asks, is that your van out there?
My van.
Run.
Yes.
Run.
We should paint the van.
Also, they should be, you know, first, second graders, so that would be totally inappropriate.
Exactly.
So why are you giving first and second graders tours of your van?
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
Hi.
I substituted one time.
Did you?
Yeah. Was
it
right.
an Elsa?
In Elsa.
Yeah, it was an Elsa, of course. It was great.
How did that go?
It was fine. I had the kids very disciplined. It was in second grade, I believe. I was working at Hastings at the time, and I was working at Mr. Gaddy's at the time, but I also had an apartment, and my mom was like, hey, you have some college hours under your belt. Mm-hmm. You could come in for an easy $50.
$50? Wow. That's it?
I think it's $50 a day, or $100. I think it might have been $100.
It's $100 at most places.
Well, then it's $100.
I was like, Elsa is super cheap.
Maybe if I didn't have those hours, it was $50, but it's $100. So like, she was like, just quick $100, and I was like, cool, badass, whatever. And then so my mom.
What grade level?
Second grade.
Okay.
My mom got me in her school to substitute one time, and they called me up, and they're like, Mr. Rodriguez, can you come in today to substitute for so and so? And I said yes. And so I went over there.
Yes.
Yes. I am Mr. Rodriguez. And
it's like School of Rock. This is Ned Schneebly.
It's a great movie.
Yes, it is. Were the cows a problem?
No, there are no cows.
Well, don't like cows just walk freely through the streets of Elsa? That's what I heard.
Who told you that?
Alyssa.
Where are you getting
I said dogs.
Oh,
there's a lot of dogs.
Yo, I'm sorry. Were the dogs a problem? Roaming in and out of your classroom?
No, they were not.
It's like Pawnee, Indiana with their raccoon problem. Elsa has a dog problem.
We got a big stray dog problem. Like straight up.
Like there's a park that no one goes to because it's overrun by dogs.
You could find like
the last time we were there was like 4 dogs that just showed up to your mom.
They're in a oh yeah, there were puppies. They fucking run the place.
A pack of wild dogs just showed up.
Wild puppies, yep.
And you'll always find like a dead dog in the street. You'll just like if you roll your windows down, you'll smell a dead dog somewhere.
Wow, what is up with that?
I don't know, because they fucking fuck. I'm telling you, if Alyssa got pregnant,
that's true. Dogs are just shitting out litters left and right.
But yeah, so substituting wasn't terrible.
But you made it through the day.
Yeah, have you substituted before?
No, I mean.
Have you?
No.
I went straight to teaching.
Me too.
With no experience. We're pretty lucky. Right. We're pretty lucky.
I went in and they're like, and my mom was like giving me the talk, like not the talk, but
right.
She's like, I know you're about to substitute, but I think it's time you're ready.
Talk about the birds and the bees.
She was giving me the pep talk.
See those dogs fucking?
Like they're gonna have a piece of paper on the desk. That's what you have to do. That's gonna be the layout. It's gonna give you what time to what time, and this is what you're gonna teach during this time, and this is what you're gonna teach during this time, and da da da. And everything is fine. It's laid out for you. So I go in there and I have all the kids quiet. Right. I have them listening. I have them doing everything they need to be done each time. And my mom made a point to not visit me because there's that thing that like. Miss, is that your son?
Oh yeah, you get that.
Yeah.
Yes. That's always weird.
Yeah.
I remember having classmates who their parents were teachers there, and it just seemed so unfair. Like their parents were near them all the time.
My mom didn't have me in her class when I went to that school, but
she could have though, right?
She absolutely could have. She put me in the best teachers of that school.
Just she didn't put you in her classroom.
She was a teacher's aide.
Oh,
so
okay.
No, she wasn't like, ooh, I'm feeling not good about this year. You should go with Miss
I'm really
Medina.
going to phone it in this year. We interrupt this episode of the Still Unnamed podcast right now because it's time to check in with one of the favorites here amongst the Still Unnamed family. I'm talking, of course, about the one, the only, my little buddy, Quentin. How you doing, Quentin?
I'm doing really good.
Okay, good. I have you on the show right now because we wanted to talk about a couple of different things. One of them being, it's kind of sad because the last time I had you on here was to discuss the passing of one of the wrestling legends, Dusty Rhodes, yeah. And now, unfortunately, I have the sad task of having you on here again to discuss the passing of another legend, which, of course, was...
the one only Roddy Piper, everybody.
Yeah, Roddy Piper passed away at the young age of 61. I know
Daddy's
that
hopes and dreams are over when he was a kid.
my hopes and dreams were over.
Even Hulk Hogan is racist, everybody.
Well, we were going to talk about that too.
No offense, everybody.
But yeah, I mean, we'll get into a couple different things right now. First and foremost, for those of you who've been listening, Mark and Alyssa and I have already discussed Roddy Piper, but I want to get a little bit more in depth because I was talking to two people who, you know, they like wrestling, they're just not super fans the way that you and I are. So I think that we need to take a moment and further discuss what Piper meant to us. And I know it's kind of strange because you're only 7 and you only know of Roddy Piper, you know, from the matches that you've seen.
When he kind of goes out and kind of like punches a little bit, then he comes out, then he like stays cool. And because I've seen him do that Royal Rumble on the network.
Right.
So, but
see, that's how you've become a fan of Roddy Piper, thanks to the network.
I've seen videos.
You're able to watch old videos and old clips and kind of get a feel for what he was all about. Yeah. But I mean, I think it needs to be stated that he was. I said earlier that he was one of the first true wrestling villains, and it's true. He was a huge. You know, he defined the word wrestling bad guy.
Yeah.
You know, he was. There wouldn't have been a Hulkamania if it wasn't for him, because Hulk Hogan needed an ultimate bad guy to be against in order to make him the ultimate good guy.
Yeah.
And that was Roddy Piper.
If any wrestlers listening, right, gotta hear this show, just know this is all about wrestling, and this is for all the wrestlers. So we're doing a great thing about wrestling and Roddy Piper.
Right. Piper was always one of my favorites. Him, Macho Man, Undertaker, those were my guys back when I was younger in the 90s and 80s and 90s. Funny story. I used to play football when I was a young person. I was in junior high.
Yeah. And
we would have 2 colored jerseys. We would have either a black one or a white one. And when we would play home games, we would wear the white, and when we would wear have away games, we would wear the black. I think that's the way it was. And I was so into wrestling that whenever I would wear the black jersey, I would pretend that I was the Undertaker. Totally not paying attention to the game, totally not caring about the rules of the game. But interesting enough, when I would wear the white jersey, I would pretend to be Roddy Piper. It's really dumb, I know. In the black jersey, I would pretend like I was unstoppable and I was just this undead monster that couldn't be stopped. And when I wore the white one, I was the wild man, and I would just fly off the handle and go and try and hit people. That's the way I played football, which is the incorrect way to play football. But so, Hulk Hogan's a racist.
Yes.
How does that make you feel? You were not around for the height of Hulkamania. That was like 20 years before you were born.
I've seen him. I've seen him actually in real life coming out, and I've seen him like representing breast cancer or something like that. Breast cancer,
yes.
And then
that's when we went to go watch wrestling in San Antonio.
The crowd was going wild.
Yeah, I was going wild.
Yeah.
I'd never. I mean, my inner childhood little boy was like super excited.
You never thought that your own son would see him.
No, that was a dream come true. It really was a dream come true. It's a fond memory I have with you, but a couple months later to come to find out that, you know.
Yeah, he a couple months or years later, Hulk Hogan says this mean thing about black people, and
it's a word we should never say.
I was like, my mind just exploded, and I was like, what?
I know. So your mind exploded, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird thing to come out. Like it didn't make sense.
I mean, he's an American hero. I didn't understand that.
Right. I mean, he was a great 80s icon and American hero and all that stuff, and for his legacy to be so tarnished the way that it has been in the last few weeks, it's very sad. It's a very sad situation. Unfortunately, he said some words that are very ugly words that we shouldn't ever say.
Yeah.
So, you know, hopefully he'll be able to. Well, I don't know if he'll ever really come back from this, but I'm pretty sure that with time this will pass, and hopefully this isn't what he's remembered for. He'll be remembered for all the many years that he entertained millions and millions of people.
I just hope like he fixes his attitude. He comes back to maybe like the next WrestleMania and goes back from everything like that not even happened.
Right. I hope so too. I really do. So what else is new? What else has happened?
Well, this week we went to WWE.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. WWE came back down to Hidalgo, and your mom and I came up with a plan to surprise you with some tickets. So we did.
Yeah.
And did you have a good time?
It was pretty fun. It was awesome. If any wrestlers listening, I hope it's Dean Ambrose, because Dean Ambrose, you're one of my favoriteest guys ever.
You went crazy when he came out.
When he came out, I just got the Dean Ambrose necklace, the Dean Ambrose little wristbands, and they were awesome.
Yeah, you went crazy.
Yeah.
It was so cool to see you get that excited at a live event.
And I was so sad that you didn't win the title, but I hope, Dean, I hope you really do.
One day, I think he will.
One day.
I think he will. Yeah, so we saw Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, all of them. All those guys were there.
Seth, you're a really good champion, but also I think you should get a chance and win a new title.
You just don't want him to have that belt anymore, do you? Well, cool. I know that, my main... The thing that I enjoyed the most, because I've been to so many wrestling events over the years. Not that they're boring to me, not at all. They're still exciting, but I think I get more excited seeing how excited you get and how happy you are, and that's really my number one concern. That's really all I want. I'm glad that you were able to share that with your parents, and it's a memory that I hope you're gonna hold on to for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Cool. So anyway, I guess I'm going to turn this episode into a two-parter because we just kind of went kind of long with me and Mark and Alyssa. So I'm going to, I guess, finish up that conversation next week. So in the meantime, I just want to thank you, Quentin, for being on the show and being a part of it. I know that I think that ratings go up whenever you're on. People just love to hear your little voice and love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you for being on here and sharing some of your Roddy Piper moments that will live on in your memory. Like I said earlier, he was a great wrestler. He was literally one of my top 5 favorites when I was a kid. And I have so many Roddy Piper memories. So I just want to thank you for being on here and sharing some with me.
Thank you for letting me be on the show. The only thing I came here and I wanted to do a podcast for is because I just wanted to say rest in peace, Roddy.
Well said. I don't think I can add to that at all. So I want to say special thanks to our sponsor, Chico's Bail Bonds. Thank you very much for being on. Thanks to Mark and Alyssa. We'll have part 2 coming up next week. So for now, thank you guys for listening, and have yourself a very, very, very happy
Taco Tuesday.
That is correct. Bye-bye.
Legend.